Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days and welcome to today's unseen video. This is where we round up all the talking points from social media, and we didn't do an unseen yesterday because there was only one talking point yesterday, and that of course was the news around R Truth and Carlito, and honestly there was next to nothing else in the folders, so we obviously did a video on that and we covered that, but it is nice to be back doing unseen. So unfortunately, I wish we were coming back to some positive news, but there's still lots of bad news around. Here you can see Joaquin Wilde seems to have gone down with an injury during his Speed match that was recorded before Raw. So this was before Raw, main event, well, Speeds, but you can see the main event aprons. And yeah, he went down and the referees came and they checked on him. I was really hoping we were going to get some sort of update, and thankfully we have. So we do have an update on this. I really didn't want to show you this without giving you like a bit more of an update. I think it's actually further in the, here it is, in the folder. So Larry, thank you. Joaquin Wilde just a couple of hours ago said, I've never been knocked out cold before. There's a lot to process right now, but I'm all good, so no worries. So there we go, a bit of an update, but he was knocked out cold just before Raw. So that was obviously one bit of news. Another bit of news, so Christopher, shout out to you. WWE is bringing Savio Vega in for WWE AAA Worlds Collide on Saturday. So Savio Vega should be making an appearance at that event. This has really grabbed attention, and surprisingly, I'm not going to freak out about it. So, Eric, shout out to you, buds. A lot of people talking about this. Slim Jim have extended their relationship with WWE. So not only are they now going to be the main kind of center sponsor in ring, but apparently they're now going to put their Slim Jim logo on all the tables under the ring. So now when someone grabs a table, there's going to have like a Slim Jim logo on it. So just when you think that they've literally done everything they can do with sponsorships, they find something new. They find something else. And now those tables that are under the ring are going to have Slim Jim logos on. So I don't know. I don't know if I've just given up, to be honest. I just sort of feel like a lot of the things that we've spoken about in the past, a lot of the frustrations we've had in the past, they've just got so much worse. And I just sort of feel a bit defeated on it all. The reason, that's part of the reason. The other thing as well, though, is that we don't really get tables all that often. So for me, if you grab a table and it's got a Slim Jim logo on it, like, okay, fine, whatever. The in-ring and the what you actually get in the ring is way worse, in my opinion. Like, the actual ring canvas bothers me a hell of a lot more because that was clean. There was nothing on there. TKO have come along and now they've covered it in sponsors. And it's one of those where you watch the show and you sort of get used to it. It's not like the end of the world. But yeah, I'd much prefer they would not be there. Like, it doesn't add anything extra to the show. It's only a needed distraction. All it does is add money into TKO's pockets, right? It doesn't make it any better for us. So I would rather they not be there because obviously the ring is there all the time. And so those sponsors are there all the time. In regards to this, tables aren't in every match. They're not used on a regular basis. We probably see them once every month, maybe a little bit more than that, once every few weeks. They'll bring them out, they'll do a spot. That's the end of it, really. So to me, this is unnecessary. But it's not worse than the sponsors being in the rings. So, you know, that's how I feel about it. But here, Elayna said, I'm telling you now, we're just about a year away from them doing this. Actually doing championship belts that have got sponsors on. And it is true. Where is it going? Where is this leading to? You know, as soon as they put that Prime bottle in the middle of the ring, and the fans kind of had a little moan about it, but nothing massive. It was just sort of accepted, like, I can live with that. It's no big deal. You know, really, you allowed them then, or people allowed them then to go where we're going now. And now it just feels like a runaway train, and I don't know how you stop it. I mean, honestly, if it gets to this, fans will grumble, but will there be a massive backlash? I'm just sort of waiting for this massive backlash, and I really don't think it's ever going to arrive. I really don't think it's ever going to happen. I think the sponsorship thing is just going to keep going. They're going to keep exploring it. They're going to keep trying stuff. They'll see people complaining about it online, but honestly, people then just move on. And it's a little bit like R Truth. There was a little bit of moaning today on Raw, but honestly, people just quickly move on, don't they? I mean, the We Want Truth chants were nowhere near as loud as I was personally expecting. There was nowhere near as many R Truth signs as I was personally expecting. That, what we saw on Raw, is nowhere near enough for WWE to reconsider their position. It was a token gesture at best, right? So I just sort of feel like the WWE universe, it's not really set up at the moment for these big kind of pushbacks. I think that if you want to push back against ticket prices, if you want to push back about R Truth not having his contract renewed, if you want to push back against sponsorships, if you want to get like some social media kind of momentum and movement, I just don't think the fan base is there. I just don't think it's there. It just doesn't strike me at the moment as being capable of such a thing. It's got to be something truly, truly exceptional. Kind of like Cody trying to finish his story and The Rock replacing him and We Want Cody. Like, it's got to be something of that magnitude to really grab everyone's attention. But, yeah, sponsorships, honestly, this could be a glimpse into the future. And certainly this is a glimpse into the future. And where does it go from here? Right, as well as that, Valhalla has announced that she's not going to have her contract renewed either. I told you it was all bad news. People don't click on this for bad news. They want good news. As soon as I find some, I'll bring it to you. But Valhalla said, "Dear wrestling days." She did mean to put days there, but she decided not to. I come to you with tears in my eyes. And actually, I get a lot of messages that start that way. Our time has come to a sudden end. I get a lot of messages that continue with that as well. WWE informed me yesterday that they are letting my contract expire. So obviously, joking aside, very serious stuff. And Valhalla's one of those kind of characters that's on the peripheral. She's not like a main character. She's not someone that wrestles on a regular basis. So I don't know how shocking this is going to be to people. There's some in our chat that thought she was no longer with WWE anyway, but still, you know, it's a shame. She said, "You always assume that when you end a lifelong career that there will be a grand exit, but here I am. I'm just using a notes app on my phone, typing up a goodbye letter to an entity that will forget I was even there. I truly take no offense to this. My career as it was is getting usurped by my vocation, and it's all on a divine timeline that I trust deeply. I'll definitely miss you, but know that I've taken care. I'm being taken care of by my wonderful husband, by the land you provided for me, and alongside the children I've made along the way. I'm going to take off the weight of being a superstar and let myself soar being just Sarah. She's been growing on me, and it's time I let her fully cultivate. Love all the people that you've brought into my life, but my social media page won't be about you anymore. It will share only the parts of me that I wish, and none of that will be wrestling. I'm more of a clean break kind of girl, and the other calls to me will be taking my full attention. With all my love, Sarah. That's a very touching post, isn't it? That is Sarah Logan talking to wrestling, talking to that side of her life that has been so prominent. You know, this is her saying goodbye to wrestling. This is her breaking up with wrestling. It's very powerful, very, very powerful. And she's basically saying that it's time for her to be a mom and for her to focus on Sarah rather than, Valhalla. And, that has been growing on her. She's been enjoying that side of her life. And very powerful, very powerful. Right, here. So, yeah, this has been shared a lot. I would say this was probably the big story of today. The fact that The Miz has unfollowed WWE and removed all mentions of WWE in his Twitter and his bio. And we know that his contract is coming up soon. But Sean Ross Sapp has said this is a nothing story. Apparently, The Miz has not been told his contract is not going to get renewed. It may not be renewed. But Sean Ross Sapp has found out that The Miz hasn't been told that. So at the moment, this might be The Miz just preparing for life after WWE. It could be that he's just getting ready in case his contract is not renewed. But it's not that he's been told anything, or at least that's what Fightful are reporting. So, yeah, Sean's saying this is a nothing story. I still think it's interesting. I still think it's interesting because it does kind of show a bit of a shift in mindset. It does sort of show that The Miz is now starting to think about, maybe I need to promote myself. Maybe I need to make sure that I am really building my own brand in case this goes wrong, in case I end up leaving. Because I think that R Truth departure certainly shows that there's really not too many people that are safe. If you've been there a long time, that does not mean that you are being protected or they're going to be loyal or anything like that. It really doesn't mean that anyone is safe. So, yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It's really difficult. It's really difficult. So I think he might have looked at what's going on and he might be thinking about building up his own brand and, maybe films, or he's got like his golf channel on YouTube. So perhaps he's kind of trying to put a little distance social media wise between himself and WWE. But yeah, apparently nothing to do with him being told that he's not going to get renewed or anything like that. We just got this list here. So this is from Fightful. So they've got a bit of a running kind of, this is what we know about contracts. So you can see that Karrion's is up in the summer, right? That's obviously a big concern. The Miz at some point in 2025, maybe more towards the end of the year. Dragon Lee, his contract is up towards the end of the year. And then we start going into 2026, 2027, 2028. So you can see actually all of these, like Alexa's going all the way through to 2030, same as Kevin Owens. Undertaker signed a 15-year deal in 2019, so he goes through to 2034. But you can see all of these are long term. So there's no contracts expiring here. So all these people are protected in that regard. Bailey is late 2026. Corey Graves is early 2027. Obviously, Miro didn't long come back. So, interesting. Even the ones, actually, that have got a long time, it's worth knowing, isn't it? It's worth knowing. So, yeah, but that's the only information that's out there. There's a lot of contract information, which honestly is not known. So that's all the info we've got. And we covered that as well. So that was all the WWE stuff. R Truth we can touch on. So there was chants and stuff along those lines. But I don't know where that one thing went. There was. We can find it. CM Punk actually said a few words after. I wonder if that was in the Raw folder. So there was re-sign R Truth or We Riot sign, right? So, J Omega, thank you. Edward, shout out to you. So, WrestleMania finding out, I think this from Wrestling Observer. Reportedly, Triple H made the call to release R Truth Carlito. They're looking at numbers. They're looking at how many people they would have to cut or how much money they have to cut. And those were the picks. They were Levesque picks, and that's what it is. No surprise there, to be honest. I mean, the way this tends to work is TKO will look at the budget and they will say to Nick Khan, they will say to Triple H, we want to get this down to this number. If you're going to bring up Stephanie, you're going to bring up Julia, you're going to bring up Roxanne, if you want to bring up Trick, if you want to bring up Oba, if you want to bring up Ethan Page or whoever, obviously we need the budget to stay in line. So that means we need to cut back. We can't just keep adding. And I think, honestly, R Truth is someone that probably has survived a few cuts. I don't know that. I'm just speculating. But I think that he, for a long time, has been paid a good wage, a good amount of money. And I don't know if the content we've been getting out of him kind of justifies that money. I do think he should be staying around. I do think he should be under a Legends deal. I think there should be some loyalty there, right? I'm certainly not on board with him just being released. But it's a difficult one as well because I think he has been getting paid a fair bit of money. He's not been getting involved in these kind of major stories, major feuds. It's not like the whole CM Punk Drew McIntyre situation or Liv and Rhea. You know, he kind of comes in, does some comedy stuff and then kind of goes, and he does a lot of backstage little segments and they can be very quick, very fleeting. He's someone that provides comedy. He's someone that provides value. He definitely adds to the product. But is it worth the X amount of millions that we kind of spend each year on his contract? It's one of those where some people would be like, yes, absolutely, of course it is. We should be protecting R Truth. He's a legend. I hear all of that. But equally, I do understand where TKO are coming from. If their wage budget is 50 million and it's going to increase because of all this NXT talent that's coming up, Triple H has got to make a decision. If it's not Truth, Carlito, Valhalla, it's going to have to be other people. Other people will have to be cut. You can't just keep everyone. So it's one of those where it's a difficult decision that has to be made. And I think we've just kind of run out of road. I think R Truth's contract is expiring and the decision was made, we're not going to give you a new contract. We feel like we've pretty much done everything we can do. And I do understand that. The thing that upsets me is that it's so cold. Like, where was R Truth? Why was there not a celebration of his work? Why was it that, could they not have reached an agreement whereby they agreed, we'll give you a bit of extra money if you say you've decided to walk away or something like that? If you say that you've decided to not re-sign, we'll give you a bit of extra money and we can then like have you cut a promo and all this. Do you know what I mean? Instead, they've allowed him to put a statement out saying that he's been released. Now it all feels a bit awkward. They didn't mention him on Raw. Like, there was no mention of him by Michael Cole. I mean, really, this is someone that deserves to say goodbye to the fans. He deserves video packages. He deserves honoring. This is what's bothering me. This is what's bothering me. I would much rather that we gave him some extra money. He's like said that he was deciding to walk away. He'd like to try some new things. And that way then we could maybe have him on the show. We could have say thank you. It wouldn't feel too bad because it would be, or at least we would think it was his decision. So, you know, the fans would be chanting, you know, please stay and stuff like that. At the moment, the fans are blaming WWE, and WWE obviously are trying to kind of hide that and minimize that, you know, and it's all a bit awkward. So, yeah, this is no shock. Triple H, I think, had to make a decision. If it wasn't going to be R Truth Carlito, it would have been other people. So I don't really blame Triple H for this. I do want to just jump over into my notifications, though, because this is the clip. Right? So CM Punk acknowledging the We Want Truth chants. And again, you can find clips of about 10 seconds of We Want Truth chants. They're not like riotous. They're not like overshadowing the show. They kind of, it feels like there's a loud section in the crowd. And it felt like the rest of the crowd didn't really go with it. I thought there was a chance we were going to see loads of truth signs and we were going to get loads of loud R Truth chants, maybe to the point where Michael Cole wouldn't even be able to ignore them. But the truth is, there was like a pocket of people chanting, and then after 10 seconds or so, it would stop. And we would get what's up chants, we want truth chant, and then it would just go away again. It would dissipate again. It didn't feel like the crowd were really behind the message. And as I said, you know, we're kind of seeing that on a regular basis. We're not seeing a big pushback to ticket prices. We're not seeing a big pushback to the sponsorship situation. And I don't think we got a loud, we want our truth message. You will read that WWE fans took over Raw, right? You will read that WWE fans' frustration boiled over and all this. That's just flowery language to get you to click on videos or to get you to read articles. If you watched Raw, there is no way you can tell me the fans hijacked the show, right? There was just occasional moments where you got very quiet, small, we want truth chants, what's up chants. It was nowhere near enough to change WWE's mind. But they were there, CM Punk heard them, and this is what he had to say.
For somebody that's not here. Think about it, you'll get it on your way home.
How dare you chant for someone that's not here? So he was only joking, of course. You know, he was only joking. So CM Punk acknowledging the we want truth chants following Raw. How dare you chant for someone that's not here? So there we go. So yeah, he wasn't being serious or anything. He was just having a bit of fun with those chants. Okay, so that was everything to do with R Truth. The crowds definitely made an effort, right? Here's a glimpse. As we said, it only runs for about 5 seconds. I don't know if you can even hear it, to be honest. I mean, that's turned up max. The crowd are like, I think, singing, I don't know what song. It might have been Sammy's song, but you can just sort of hear it. We want truth. I'm going to play it again. And then it went again. So, like, some people even thought that WWE were, like, manipulating the sound. There might have been a little manipulation. If it was a pocket of people in a certain section, I wonder if they could kind of turn the microphones down in that area. But the truth is, if the whole crowd had really got behind it, you would have really struggled to have controlled that. You would have had to have muted the show. And we never even came remotely close to that. Right, no Carlito in the clubhouse, which was notable. But again, no mention of him. And I didn't even notice, to be honest, I didn't even know that was his shirt. So I saw it, but I didn't look at that and go, oh, Carlito. But apparently that is a Carlito shirt. So Dominik was wearing a Carlito shirt. Big Minx Gaming, thank you. Chanel, thank you. Way to be discreet. So here, look, Chad Gable, CG on the boots. And there we go. That was El Grande. Perhaps he just had to borrow Chad's boots. Could have been that. So there we go. And of course, a big shock. He would win the main event. Really surprising. So this lineup is pretty crazy. Solo, Seth, El Grande, LA Knight, Penta, and Andrade. I mean, looking at that lineup, is there anyone there that's going to take the title from John Cena if needed? I mean, Solo's a heel. Seth's a heel. El Grande is a heel. Your 3 baby faces are along the back. Can you see any of these cashing in on John Cena to save wrestling? I've seen some people thinking maybe they're going to have LA Knight in that spot. I mean, I don't know. I'm struggling to see LA Knight winning the WWE Championship. LA Knight could be in a feud for the World Heavyweight Championship, but I'm struggling to see him win the WWE Championship and be the one that stops John Cena. I'm struggling with that. I'm struggling to see Penta in that situation. I'm struggling to see Andrade in that situation, and I can't see why a heel would stop John Cena. So I'm sort of looking at this now, thinking that this could really be around the World Heavyweight Championship. I'm really looking at this wondering if this is going to have anything to do with John. Because in our minds, I think we've fantasy booked where this person might stop John. I'm not convinced. I think now this might be around the World Heavyweight Championship, and some people even think that it could be that Seth wins and cashes in next Monday when we've got Jay versus Gunther, and that actually that could be when we get the cash in. So rather than cashing in on the same show like we've seen recently, it might just be a couple of days later where the Money in the Bank holder cashes in during the Jay Gunther match. And that person could be Seth. I think Seth has to be the favourite here. Going back about a week ago, we looked at the odds. Bron Breakker was the favourite. He's not even in the flipping match. This is why I didn't do my predictions video for Money in the Bank yet, because if CM Punk was going to go in tonight, that would have been a very different conversation. Now that he's not in there, well, Seth just feels like out and out front runner, doesn't he? Seth just feels very comfortably the favourite in that one. So, now that the lineup is complete, who have you guys got winning? As we said, I think it's going to be Seth. Stu said, I must apologise. I was not familiar with your game, Michael Cole. Look at this. Michael Cole has got some guns, in all fairness to him. Showing off some the gun show. So there he was. Obviously, he lost the bet. So he had to do the show in the Indiana Pacers top, which was a fun little moment. And but yeah, I think people were quite impressed with Michael Cole's gun show that he had going on. Bailey said, don't start Stu. And Stu's like, he's still an idiot. Karrion trying to turn Sami heel, but it won't work, said Roman Reigns SCN. I think it might work. I think that Sami is, certainly on that Raw after WrestleMania when Sami came out, Jay was celebrating and we were all like, oh, wondered if he was going to turn. There's even been that theory about how Sami had that chair and people were showing that it looked very similar to the Shield breaking up moment. Some people thinking that Sami was going to turn on CM Punk in that tag match. Nothing came of that. But, yeah, honestly, Sami, he's been heel before. He could go heel again. I actually think there is a chance. I don't know where this leaves Karrion. I don't know where this leaves Karrion. It could be that Sami and Karrion go into a feud now. And it could be that ultimately Karrion brings that side of Sami out. But... I can't sit here and say it's not going to go that way. I think there's already been a few teases that Sami could go that way. Roman Reigns also pointing out, look, no Carlito PS5. It's true. No PS5. No 2K25 being played in the clubhouse. Some people also commenting on the Finn Balor lunchbox, but honestly, that's been there months and months and months and months and months. It was there last year. I feel like every week someone mentions that flipping lunchbox. They get so excited about the demon thing on the lunchbox. It's like, it's been there so long. But, yeah, whatever. It's no Carlito, the big talking point here. Bronson Reed did look great, honestly. Looked a little slimmer in the body. He did look really good. Oh, and you might not have seen this, but during commercial break, New Day were talking to Grayson, telling him he needs to drop Austin Theory. They were like, we got rid of our dead weight, Big E. You should get rid of your dead weight. You don't need Theory. And Grayson was like, thinking about it. So I'm sure that was during commercial break. Obviously, we got Sami as well. Sami with his Sami glasses. I'm sure you noticed it. Yeet and Sami, which was kind of fun. And I just love Sheamus's line, I bully bullies, which I just thought was a really fun line. Of course, the other big news is that Stephanie qualified. She is in Money in the Bank, and that lineup looks a lot better. You got Julia, you got Roxanne, you got Liv, you got Alexa, you got Stephanie, but it seems like a lot of people are going with Naomi as the winner. This heel turn has been really good for her, and so I've seen a lot of people saying that she's the pick. when it comes to Money in the Bank. So, yeah, I can vibe with that. Right, lots of doom and gloom, as we said. Let's have a look, see what we've got in fun, shall we? Pick up the vibe. So here, actually, there's going to be a Wrestlefest cabinet that's coming out. So there's a company, I don't think they've announced when it's out, but they're actually going to release a Wrestlefest cabinet, and that's so exciting. You might have seen these arcade companies releasing, like Mortal Kombat, Simpsons, things like that. Wrestlefest is getting done now. I'm really tempted to get it. I don't have the money for it, but oh, come on. How could you not have this in your house? I do actually have a mini one, which is like an unofficial one, but this one I believe is going to be kind of official, fully licensed, all of that. So yeah, it's not out yet. I've not seen any release dates, but it does look really, really good. Dustin, shout out to you. So we got Turner and Hooch, and we've got Cena and Douche. So Cena and Douche teaming up this weekend at Money in the Bank. Right. Guys, OMG, said Flowing. Music Zone, Promo Queen, shout out to you. So here, look, Jade should have stayed in AEW. Nothing happens here for her. And Naomi responded, don't worry, I'm working my hardest to send her back there. So this person saying Jade should have stayed in AEW. Naomi says, I'm trying my hardest to get her back over there. Right, new advert. I better not get any flipping issues here. Let's play this. So this is a new Slim Jim advert with Elayna and Jey Uso. But not only those guys, because at some point we're about to see Ren Sinclair and Miles Bourne as well. Boom, there they are. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah. Snap into a Slim Jim. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let me talk.
Yeah, and we've still got a bit of Macho Man around. Snap into a Slim Jim. So there we go. LA Knight, Jey Uso, Slim Jim commercial, and Ren Sinclair said, I spy. So Ren Sinclair, that's crazy. I wonder why they chose Ren and Miles to be in this. Out of all the people, I wonder why it was these two. Pleased for them, though. Pleased for them, both of these guys in NXT. Both no quarter catch crew at the moment, although I believe that could change soon. Miles is going to have a match with Charlie. If he wins, then he's out. Right, let's go. Okay, yeah, I saw this. A lot of reading. But I got a lot of respect for Sean Ross Sapp, so... And I've got very little respect for Sportskeda, right? So just something to be aware of, right? If you care even a little bit about media, and especially wrestling media, please read this and please share it. For every wrestling content creator and plenty of fans, if you ever do an original interview or break original news, this will likely affect you. I was made aware recently that Sportskeda and SK Wrestling, right, Sportskeda Wrestling, have a no backlinking policy. This means that they'll take the work that you did as a writer, an interviewer, podcast creator, they'll post it on their site and they will not bother linking back to or crediting your original work. They do this so they can manipulate the Google SEO, and so they rank higher than the original work. It's manipulative. It's predatory. Aggregation is a common thing, and linking back to the original source or embedding a video is common courtesy. This greatly affects a lot of younger creators and the people that work for outlets that get paid per click. I messaged 6 editors about this that were made aware. He was aware about this and he got blocked by this person. Not one reply from a single editor of a website that has made at least 6 figures aggregating my work alone, why they can't link it back. Let me explain why they won't link it back. 1, it would help the Google ranking of any original creators, and they don't want that. I've also brought up a number of issues with them. They presumably used AI to falsely write that a wrestling manager had an underage bride. Never saw that story. They run a referral program with little to no oversight that has claimed that wrestlers have cancer that didn't. They even use AI-generated half-naked pictures of women's wrestling talent that the talent themselves asked me to help get removed. They've either ignored it or played dumb. A number of media have reached out to them about these issues. They clearly don't care about that, even though they make money off the backs of those people. They might care if people who consume their content take issue with it. So Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful going hard after Sportskeda and Sportskeda Wrestling. This post being viewed over 300,000 times. I've also liked and shared as well. So there we go. I mean, just something to be aware of, right? Right. And after saying that, this is going to be a bit tricky for me. Because she's made some comments that I've just... Let's walk. So, Elayna Black, formerly known as Cora Jade, indicated that she knew back in November that she was going to be fired. She indicated there was someone there that had issues with her. Edward, thank you. Dead Man Talking. Oh, Dead Man Talking. Actually, that is a link to Macho Man's WrestleMania 9 outfit. I meant to put that in fun. It's going to be auctioned in August. The price is $8,000. They think it's going to go for $8,000. I think it might do a bit more. I'll be very interested to know what that sells for. Macho was on commentary for WrestleMania 9, and if I had some more money, I would definitely be interested. If I was sat here, a wealthy man, WrestleMania 9 means a lot to me. So, yeah, the fact that they're selling that off is interesting. I'd like to know what it goes for. I ain't bidding, but I'd like to know what it goes for. Right, this is the one I've got a bit of... So, Elayna Black says, during her time in WWE, she was once told that she wouldn't be champion in the company because she looked like she couldn't crack an egg. I definitely think things would have been different if it wasn't for certain things like body shaming. I came in at 19. I was 110 pounds. I was small. It was a constant comments, whether it was from guys who thought they were being funny. And I'm not going to name names, but I remember specifically being told I wasn't or wouldn't be a champion in the company because I looked like I couldn't crack an egg. Multiple conversations about my body, which I don't think anyone, especially another man, should be saying that to a female. I was so young, it created a lot of issues for me body-wise. But obviously I gained a lot of muscle after that. I worked my ass off. Now, I'm really torn on this. This is a challenge for me. You're seeing me going through a bit of a dilemma here because I think there is a lot of truth to what she has said about a young girl being vulnerable and about body image. And we know how sensitive of a topic that is. So on the one hand, you've got all of that is valid and is understandable, right? On the other hand, wrestling obviously is about look, presentation, right? All of that is very important. You can't really take that away from wrestling because that is first impressions mean a lot. You know, there's a lot of people that like wrestlers because they're big, they're jacked, they've got a certain look, a certain vibe. Your aura is connected with your look. So you can't really separate that. So if there were concerns that she looked thin and didn't look like she was going to be able to hurt anyone, I feel like comments have to be made. If you need her to go to the gym and put some muscle on and start to look like she could push some people around, like a wrestler should look, I sort of feel like those are not bad conversations to have with someone, right? So there's kind of two things that can be true at the same time. Body image, young girl, pressure, body shaming, all of that, right? I feel like this is a really sensitive subject, and it certainly seems like it wasn't dealt with the sensitivity required, okay? So all of that is true, but then it's also true that you do need to have a good look. You do need to look like you can have a match, that you can throw people around, that you can cause problems, yeah? So I sort of feel like having a conversation with Cora about, you're here, I need you to get here in a healthy way, in a constructive way. I'm not down on that. I wasn't in the room when these conversations were being had. Maybe the way they were had was not correct, but I don't think the conversation itself was the wrong conversation. I understand that you've got your looks important, and even by her own standards, when she came in, she was 19, she weighed 110 pounds, and she was small. But she had great potential. She could work. They could see something there. So they want to take that and they want to, do you know what I mean? They want to improve it. And one of the ways of improving it is by hit the gym, kid. Hit the gym. Let's hit them weights. Let's build you up. Let's build up that presence. Let's build up that aura. Perhaps it wasn't presented in an encouraging way, a constructive way. I'm not sure. But that's why this is a tricky one, because I think there's two truths at play here at the same time. And I think just focusing on the one aspect is not doing justice to the other aspect, and vice versa. So that was my kind of thoughts in regards to that. She did an interview today with Ariel Helwani, so if you want a bit more depth there, go and check that out. Joe Gacy says, we won't stop. Christopher, shout out to you. So obviously we'll see what's next for them on Friday. Charlotte said great things are coming in June. Don't know what that's about, but great things on the way apparently for Charlotte. Matt Hardy said, coincidentally, that's exactly what we wanted to do. Bray had an amazing story laid out, which he'd lost all of his family. He wanted to earn his way into the House Hardy family. It was super creative, wildly entertaining. So it seems like we ended up with the Deleter of Worlds as a tag team, but it seemed like Bray at the time had an idea where he wanted to actually join that kind of family, the Woken universe and all of that. I think he wanted to kind of join that, because when the Wyatt family disbanded, he was quite lost. And obviously he ends up joining Matt Hardy. And there was people at the time saying, oh, Bray should get connected with Woken Matt and all this kind of stuff. And so it seems like there was some ideas there to actually do that, which isn't a great surprise. A lot of people were theorizing and talking about that at the time, but it just never kind of came to fruition. And obviously that tag team Deleter of Worlds didn't really massively get anywhere. And ultimately we end up with him stepping away and then coming back with the Funhouse. So, you know, had that have gone down that path, who knows? Maybe we never would have had the Funhouse, never would have had the Fiend. Things happen for a reason. So, you know, it is what it is. CM Chunk, thank you. And take a 1990, shout out to you. So apparently Coachman says he's heard that Vince wants to buy WWE back. That's what he's heard. He's heard that Vince wants to buy WWE back. Now, I don't know if that's true. It's coming from people in the company. He can't afford to do it. He'd have to get into bed. It's probably not the right term to use, but he would have to join forces with someone else. So it would be a case that he would need to maybe get the Saudis involved. I mean, WWE is billions, and I think Vince might have $1 billion. It might have something around that ballpark, but he spent quite a bit of money setting up this new company, and obviously on like trying to keep women quiet and legal bills and everything. So he certainly does not have the billions required to buy WWE on his own. If he was to get in like bed with the Saudis, actually join forces with them, then maybe. I don't know. It's a difficult one. I don't see it happening. Right, so that was other. Okay. Community and then thanks. This has gone way longer than I was expecting. Mando said, I just finished my Uncle Howdy art after 9 days. Look at that. Very good. Mando, congrats. Nick the Train Guy, shout out to you. It's been getting loads of likes on these. I like this Max Moon one. Pretty fun. So I got another like for this Quoker. This time it was Max Moon from Conan. Conan, who I believe still works with AAA. So there we go. Sending over this image for Conan to leave a like on. So Nick, shout out to you. Bone said, check out the state of my Mercy the Buzzard display. I'm hoping to complete them all at some point. Very good. Very nice. So Bone, shout out to you. And Blue Eyes said, why WWE? Why? As there's an image with R Truth and Carlito, Blue Eyes, meeting both of those. Very good. Right, let's get thanks and let's get out of here, right? So, Fiend824, tagging me in that Joaquin Wilde clip. Babs the Barbarian. Ceno Bite. Football 24085123. I Am the Colour Red. Kelly the Wise Lady. Robin. Big Bam. Claire Webb. Sweet Chin Wrestling. Little Bit of a Fan. Ty Sinister, Raymond, Wrestling's Biggest Fan, Uncle Revel, Phantom 67, MLW Flash, Chris, CM Chunk, Steve, Daboomer 65, Ty Sinister, tagging me in that arcade cabinet news, Bradley, Prey News of Sports, WWE Ethan, and Armando. A big thank you to everyone that continues to show this video series support. I didn't want to put a video out if there was nothing to talk about. And so obviously the big news yesterday was R Truth, Carlito. Obviously quite a bit in today's. As a result, those couple of things from yesterday moving over into today's. But I know there'll be no complaints about a slightly longer episode. Hopefully I can have something juicy for you again later after NXT tonight. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it as always. And I'll see you later for NXT. Bye for now.